It's a bit of a blustery day today, but it is sunny and it's still quite warm, 23 degrees. It's not bad for this time of year. We've not got a lot left in this container garden, but we have still got some things to harvest today. And one of them is these peppers. These are sweet peppers and they're called Mohawk. I was asked a couple of times from people what they were called. That is the variety if you want to try some yourself. I've been quite pleased with them this year, so I'm definitely going to grow some more the same next year. But we have got another variety as well, and that's these ones. These ones are called Bendigo, and as you can see, they're a nice red sweet bell pepper, and we've got a couple on this plant, and they're also very good size as well, so I'm quite pleased. They're also nice and firm, which is what we want. Once your peppers ripen, you need to take them off, because if you don't, they'll start to go soft. And you can see that we've been going around and pruning these pepper plants. We don't want them growing too much foliage at this time of year. We need them to concentrate on ripening as fruits. So that's why these plants don't have many leaves on them. And this one is another one of those Mohawks. And if you notice, it's not nearly as big as the other. What we did so far through season is we took one of the plants out of these smaller containers. These are around 10 litres. And then we moved them into a container that was quite a bit bigger. And you can see the difference. It's still got lots of peppers on it. Some are ripe, some aren't. But in this container, you can see it has made a lot of difference to what we're going to be able to harvest today. So I think next year I'll put all my peppers in the bigger containers. Although, considering they're only very small pots, we're still getting something from the other plants. And then we've got this one again in a small container, but it has got, once again, a few good sized peppers on it, and these are ripe and ready to go. Apart from two on this side, they're still green, so we're going to take the ripe ones away, leave the other two on plant and get another harvest a little bit later on. And apart from harvesting these peppers, I have got some more tomatoes that's ready as well, so we'll take those off at the same time, and then we'll have a quick look at those carrots that we're growing. If you remember, we did a later sowing of those carrots, and then we thinned them out rather than just leaving them to grow in bunches. And those carrots are called flyaway, so less susceptible to damage by carrot root fly. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we're going to get a late season harvest of some proper long carrots. We've already harvested the Atlas ones, and they was the ones that grow round. So this time we opted for some longer rooted ones. So what I'll do is I'll pull one out, and I will only take one out, and we'll see what sort of size we've got. And then I'll probably leave those for a few more weeks. So I'm just going to pop over and check the progress of those tomatoes. So that's where we're at with this final tomato plant. And you can see that although we've completely cut it back, the tomatoes are still ripening, and it looks like one's fell off, but there's no damage to it, so we'll have that. And they're the ones we've been growing, full size tomato plants in quite a small container. It's the same size as that container that I just showed you with that bigger pepper planting. So I think, to be honest, we've done quite well out of that. So we'll get these taken off, popped in fridge, and then the ones that are still green will ripen quicker. And you can see there's one there that's already on its way. Really nice little tomatoes, those. You can see we're coming to end of season because we've got some very small tomatoes on there, and although they've not grown very big, they have ripened. So let's get these off as well. There's one on there that's slightly orange, so we'll leave that one. And a couple at the back there, and that's a nice size one as well. So I'll leave all the rest of those on there, and we'll take them another day. So considering it's mid-September, that is not a bad result for us tomatoes. So now we'll get some of these peppers, and I'm going to cut them off as well. I don't want to damage plant too much. So that is a really nice looking one, and it's nice and firm. I think we're going to need another bowl. So let's get all the right ones off. I think we might be looking at a stir fry at some point. That's quite small, but it is definitely ripe and it's firm. So regardless of size, we need to take them off. And we have got 2 or 3 on here that are still green. These are only supposed to grow about this size as well. They're not supposed to be huge peppers. But I'm perfectly happy with that. There's one on the back. It's not quite ripe, so we'll leave that one as well. And I think for that plant, that's about it. You can see there, we've got a couple of green ones, and then a part ripened one. So we'll put that back in sun and hope we get some more later on. But for one plant, that is a pretty good harvest of peppers. Very pleased with that. And then we're going to have a couple of these red ones as well. Not fully ripened on one side, but it'll do. So just 2 to come off this plant. And again, part ripe on one side. We've still got a couple on there. This is not a bad looking one. It's not huge, but this one is fully ripe. So hopefully, so are the others. And so is that one. This one's not quite so ripe. So again, I'll leave that with the other 2 green ones to ripen. And then we've got a few of these Mohawks. Again, small, but ripe, so they can come off. And then we've got this carrot container. As I said, I'm just going to have a quick look to see what's what. Looks like some of his blueberries have been falling off. I just want to get an idea on the size we're at the moment. So I'll just randomly select one, give it a little twist, see where we're at. And to be fair, that is not a bad sized carrot. And there's no damage to it apart from a little bit of chewing on top. I expect some kind of an insect's done that, but we can just chop that top off and it's good to use. And having a feel round, it looks like the tops of these carrots are all around about the same size, so we'll cover them up because we don't want the tops turning green. And I'll have a quick check through to make sure they're all covered up, which they are, well apart from this one. We'll get some compost on that. And then, for the first time, I'm actually going to leave them to grow on. Usually I'd take 3 or 4 out, but I'm happy with the size of them. So we'll give them a bit of feed and a bit of water and see how big we can grow them over the next few weeks. So I call that a result. Nice sized carrot, a good amount of decent sized tomatoes, nice and firm. But I think once again the star at the show has got to be these peppers, especially those Mohawks. Very pleased with the way they've grown considering they've been outside all year long, so they're definitely on cards for next year. If you want to see what else we're going to be doing as we approach the end of September, then please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I'll see you next time. Take care.